They say the fog in Black Vein Alley moves differently. Not like mist, but like breath. It curls through the cobblestones as if searching for something or someone. In the heart of the decaying city of Durham, there's a narrow street that doesn't appear on maps anymore. It's wedged between two collapsed tenements, cloaked in soot and steam from the old factories. The few who still remember it say it was once a thriving market. Now, it's where the city dumps its forgotten things, and where something began to build itself from the scraps. No one remembers when the first disappearances started. Maybe around the time the rats began to vanish. Maybe when the stray dogs stopped barking. But those who lived closest to the alley started hearing it at night. A soft, dragging sound, like wet cloth being pulled over stone. Then the humming, low and rhythmic, almost human, yet layered with something that wasn't. A factory worker named Weller was the first to see it. He came stumbling out of the fog one morning, face pale, eyes wide, his arms wrapped in torn cloth. "It's collecting us," he whispered. "It needs parts." He died 3 days later from wounds that looked half-stitched, half-melted. The alley was sealed off soon after, barricaded with iron sheets and tar. But the city never stopped humming at night. And the fog, it never left. A journalist named Clara Baines decided to uncover the truth in 1898. She carried a lantern and a recording device, one of those early phonographs, and entered the alley at dusk. The last sound the machine captured was her own voice saying, "It smells like copper and rot, and something alive." When the police found the device days later, the grooves of the record had changed. Instead of her voice, it played back a deep, wet breathing sound, and faintly, beneath it, what seemed like dozens of voices whispering in unison. They were repeating a single phrase, "Give us form." Weeks later, the fog in Durham thickened into a permanent shroud. And then, people began seeing figures moving inside it, shapes that looked almost human but wrong in every detail. Their limbs were too long, their heads tilted in unnatural ways. Some crawled on all fours, dragging wires and cloth behind them, as if trying to finish sewing themselves together. It became known as the harvest. Every few nights, the creatures would emerge from Black Vein Alley. Silent at first, then screeching, a sound like metal scraping over bone. They would drag away anyone left alone in the fog, leaving behind trails of black fluid that shimmered like oil but smelled like blood. A survivor, the last known one, described what was inside the alley before he disappeared into madness. He said it wasn't a place anymore, but a body. The walls pulsed, the air breathed, and hanging from the pipes above were hundreds of human torsos, some twitching, some whispering, all sewn together by veins that glowed faintly red, like molten threads. At the center of it all stood something enormous. A creature stitched from many, with dozens of faces melted into its chest. It moved slowly, dragging itself forward, each step sounding like flesh tearing. Its voice, the man said, was like a chorus of every person it had taken. When asked what it said, the survivor only muttered one thing before dying of shock. It said it remembers us. Now, when fog rolls through Durham, people bar their doors and stuff wet rags into their keyholes. Because sometimes, when the night grows still, they can hear faint stitching sounds, and something large breathing just beyond the walls. No one knows if it ever stops building. Some believe it's trying to make itself perfect. Others think it's trying to rebuild humanity one scream at a time. But every few years, another street disappears beneath the fog, and the hum begins again. And if you listen closely, you might hear the whisper too. Give us form. If you enjoyed this descent into the dark, subscribe to Echoes of Reality, where horror isn't just told, it breathes.